1. What do you think?
Is your science too high?
It's not too high. Listen, I was asking about my timing.
That was good. It was good.
You don't like it usually.
It's repetitious. It's your thing, though.
It's my thing, and I don't have one of these at home, so I want to play with it here.
Do it.
And what I did, I did
Christmas
the
gift idea. Horn.
finish.
Imagine how much Elaine would hate me if I got you that for Christmas. For the house.
She'd be pretty upset. But I get to play with it here. Hey, Dave, you want to do a podcast?
I do.
Let's do it.
Unidentical.
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 Welcome back to the Unidentical podcast. Please make sure you continue to rate and review at Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Spotify, wherever it is that you download that podcast. Leave us a 5-star rating. Leave us a review. Even if it's not nice, we'll read it. It'll be fun for us. Also, if you want to look at our beautiful faces, obviously go to YouTube, Unidentical Pod there on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, smash it, mash it, sit on it, stomp on it, whatever you do to it, so that you know when some new information is coming at you.
More what?
More information.
Information.
That's right.
I like that.
You know, I'm trying to be street.
It's a good one.
I'm trying to be real like hip and street, man. West side, man.
That did it.
Quick thing. I got a new date that I added to the calendar. If you are in the San Diego area, I'm going to be headlining the Grand Comedy Club December 29th and 30th. That's the Grand Comedy Club in Escondido, California, affectionately known as Escondildo. It's in San Francisco, 4 shows, 29th, 30th of this month. Come check it out. Also, I don't know if anybody from there is watching, but I'll be in Alaska January 12th. It's going to be cold as shit. Other than that, here we are at episode 14. You have to remember that stuff. I can't remember that.
Yeah, wow. Congrats.
Episode 14. And as you can see, we're back in the big studio. Why? Because we got a guest. And not only is this dude hilarious, he's talented, but he's also one of my buddies in the game. We've known each other for probably the entire time I've been doing this. Please welcome to the podcast, Mr. Eric Schwartz.
Yo.
AKA Smooth E. Where's my applause? Yay.
Yay. Give me the gunshot.
You want the gunshot?
Yeah. Oh!
Boom. In there, baby.
Sound is so Dr. Dre,
I know.
isn't it? And I'm in Long Beach, and I'm like,
Oh,
I'm having a perfect experience.
Yes, we're giving you the ambiance.
Yeah, if I were on episode 13, I wouldn't have done that
No,
because that's bad luck.
because then you would have had the ambulance. Right?
Yeah.
And not the ambiance. You know what I did there,
And
Dave?
the
Oh,
the ambiance we're doing is very street.
You're a word merchant.
Dude, I'm a word merchant.
You
I
are.
wish I could rap. Guys like you and our buddy Brent Morin, when I watch that, I'm like, I just don't have that mental discipline to flow like that. Do you freestyle when you do that?
I do. That's like a practice. Yeah, it's something that you can do in the car or whatever.
Be able to
What
do
do they
that.
call it? Stream of consciousness?
Yeah, sure.
That kind of thing. What are they-
Well, you know, like there's kind of a little bit of a formula you can do. You know, like if you think of the punchline, you think of the second line first, and then you think of the rhyme for the. So you kind of think backwards.
You lost me at think.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah. It's easy.
I'm like that. Remember that episode of Flight of the Conchords when he started rapping and they just had nothing after hippopotamus?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My raps are bottomless.
Pause.
yeah.
It's so brilliant. It's so
He
brilliant.
had nothing. But yeah, Eric just released an amazing special, dude. I had to call him. I think it was, did I call you like in the middle of the night? I can't even remember. But I watched it and I had to call you and say, this is probably one of the most entertaining things I've seen in a while.
You
because
called me. This is how excited I was that you called me.
Yeah.
You called me. I was about to get in the shower, fully naked, shower running.
already
I see
exciting.
Jason Collins on my phone, and I go, the shower can wait.
The shower can wait.
I
But
turned
yeah,
the shower off, and I talked to you butt ass naked.
nice. I had that. It had that vibe. It had that feeling.
Butt
Butt-ass, naked ass. We making naked phone calls up here. But I called you to tell you because this thing was, to me, and I think this is what you were going for, it's more than a comedy special.
Yeah.
It's
for
definitely, it's a one-man show. And it's got everything. It's got music. It's got comedy. It's got, visual effects. It's the whole stage was LED screens.
It was
sick.
13 LED video walls. I've looked. There was the only venue that I could do it in was the Avalon in Hollywood because they're an EDM venue.
So they
and-
had the walls
Oh, wow.
already?
They had the walls in there.
Oh, no.
And I was like, yeah, because to rent those walls is so, there's no way I could do it. It's so expensive. Yeah.
And each panel is how big?
Well, the main panel, they're all different shapes. The main panel was, I don't know, like, it's got to be
They're
like
big.
20 feet by
Dang. And there were
15 feet or
14
something.
of them?
You said?
That was the main one, and then there was smaller ones, and so yeah, it was big. So it was like a total of like 3 of those big ones.
Man,
They were put together.
sick.
It was
And
cool.
the way that the animation coordinated with you coming around those screens and the stage, and you gotta watch it. What is it called?
It's called Delivery.
And it's on
YouTube.
Go watch this shit, dude.
On my YouTube channel.
I remember seeing you when I first started stand up. I saw you. It was 18 years ago. I saw you at the Ha.
I remember that.
And
I
I'm
might
like-
have remembered the first day.
I was there too.
I'm
You were
like,
there.
This dude is ridiculous.
Yep.
Because it was like in a good way,
Thanks, man.
and because it was the talent, it was the music, it was the comedy, the look, you know. And yeah, you look
I mean,
cute, man. You
Not
whatever.
age though.
Whatever,
That's
bro.
you
crazy.
guys
We're very
still
aged.
look the same.
We're grizzled.
You're being nice. You're being nice because we look. I'm a good 25 pounds.
No, I mean as each other, not as back
Oh, we
then.
look
Yeah,
like
yeah,
each
as
other.
each
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you still look the same as each other.
That makes more sense.
Yeah,
that makes
that's-
more sense.
That's why your podcast called Unidentical.
right.
Yeah,
Because I had no idea what comedy. I knew what I thought stand up was.
yeah.
And I thought stand up because of my introduction into stand up. I thought stand up was the Laugh Factory on a Saturday night or, the Comedy Store main room on a Friday night. That's what I thought it was because that's where I was going to see comedy.
I remember you used to wear a leather jacket.
Yep. I was known for that, baby.
That was you. But the thing is, you always had like the stage presence, and from like you can see new comedians and like they don't have a lot of confidence. You had that from the jump, dude.
I think that has a lot to do with how old I was when I started.
Maybe.
I wasn't a kid. I was already 35 when I started doing stand-up.
And you were a martial arts instructor, right?
I taught large groups of people every day.
It's
So,
very
yeah.
similar, like
Very
you're talking to an audience.
Commanding a room full of people.
Right.
Man, when you got on stage, I was like, oh my God, music cues and the parody songs. My favorite one that I loved so much was the chicken dance, like rag dance hall style.
Dude, yes.
That's
the
my
jerk
all-time
chicken
favorite.
dance. The jerk chicken dance.
All
That's
time
what I-
favorite. Dude.
Yo, the way that I came up with that was actually a real thing that I created in Jamaica.
You were in Jamaica?
I was DJing. I used to DJ, and I did spring break in Jamaica. And they would have us work all hours, like from like 11 to 4, and then from 7 to question mark.
Huh.
And so we would get so tired, and I was like, we just got to sabotage the dance floor. That was like something a DJ would never do. But I was like, we got to get these people out of here. And I go, y'all ready for the hottest song of spring break? And they'd be like, yeah, a bunch of drunk college kids. Yeah, give it to us. And I'd be like, bada, 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 bada. And I just put a dance hall beat under it, and it worked. I'm like, damn, that's pretty hot.
I was just, when I first saw that, I was like, oh, because I think, was it the bit about clearing the dance floor? Or something. I can't remember.
Bit is like
but then
me.
you started doing, I don't want to be a chicken.
Yeah. I started doing a patois like what da 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 what da 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 da. Listen to my 9 little chicken go pa what? I want that. You cooking up in the kitchen? Good boy. I want to eat a jerk chicken.
That was my favorite. On top of that, dun dun dun, that heavy like dance hall beat. That was
Yeah.
so. I was like, this is cool.
I go. I guess my reasoning behind the bit was like, how could I make the wackest thing actually pretty cool?
And you did it.
That was
Yeah.
great. That's great.
You did it. Then you had the other one. You used to do the Indian, the Pakistan. What was it? I can't remember what it was. But you had one where you were like, fuck.
I think it was I was as a character thing, and I was
Yeah.
misunderstanding how I should do karaoke or something, and
You were
like it
doing the
was
whole-
something I don't remember. Don't get me canceled.
but
But-
I'm gonna cancel myself.
No, but yeah, it was something like that, and it was something about that.
Those were the best times.
Very fun.
You know, we've both done such amazing things after all these years. But all my memories go back to the beginning time for me.
yeah, dude.
Finding you, going, what in the heck? And then, Darren Carter was always there, but it was before he was the party starter, when he was the rooster still. 'Cause
Yeah.
he still had the big red hair.
Red hair.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, Darren Carter, I love that he says Darren Carter, the party starter. I had never heard him say that. One night I introduced him as that, and I always wonder,
Dude.
is that where it got? I did introduce him as, because I was DJing. I was DJing on stage as a host. I was trying this thing out. I put my DJ gear on the stage, and I was like DJing everybody's intro, and I go, "Give it up for the party starter, Darren Carter." I had never heard him say it. He might have said it before,
That sounds like something you would say, though.
but I don't want to take credit for it.
No, it's all yours. Darren.
Darren, is it from me?
It's his.
He may not have even heard me say it,
I
but
know, but you never know. But Darren Carter, the party starter.
yeah, he's awesome. And I would watch him when I started. I think he's been doing a little bit longer than me, and he always blew me away, dude. He's
When did you
amazing.
start?
I started in '94 when I was I was in college and
You got so much time on me, dude.
I just started
Over a decade on me.
Do I?
Yeah. I started in 06.
Oh, wow. Well, I was so young. I was like doing shows in my college dorm. I put on like talent shows. Like I was living in the dorms and I go, who wants to do a talent show? And then I would host it.
Yeah.
And then I would do a long set at the end. I always started with, I actually did music that early on. I had a piano player. It was a friend of mine. And we would do this blues song called the Dormitory Blues. It was so dumb.
I love it.
But
Was it dumb on purpose though?
no, it was like, now I look
You were
back
being
on
serious?
it. No, it was kind of cool. For what we were going through, I was hitting that audience of like, well, what about our food and like, all the things that we do in the dorms. It was like, if I tried to do that anywhere else, it wouldn't have worked.
Right.
But in that microcosm, it was like, they were like, oh, it's a song about us.
Yeah.
That's great. And that's what you want to hear too when you're like, hey, this is our song. That's why whenever Long Beach music comes on the radio, I always have that vibe of like, this is our music.
Yeah.
When Snoop comes on or all that.
So what were the lyrics of this blues tune? I want to know that.
All I
Dormitory Blues.
remember is like, I was talking about campus dining and I go,
Huh.
yeah, we got this restaurant. VG's, yeah, that's it. Ba-ba-da-da-da, where the food is really good. Ba-ba-da-da-da, if you like the taste of, and everyone would
Right.
laugh. Yeah, it was like
I
real
thought it was gonna
simple.
be
Dude, so it seems to me that like you started off doing like DJing music kind of stuff. When did
Yeah.
it translate into comedy clubs? Or was it one of those things where like, I could do this at a comedy club?
It was I started as a DJ, so I spent my bar mitzvah money on DJ equipment.
Love it.
Yeah, and then I was in front of crowds and stuff like that, and I was always kind of cracking jokes and whatever. So I had a lot of time in front of audiences, and then I started doing stand up, and there was a little bit of musical stuff, like I would talk about music because that was what I was doing, is playing music, and I would talk about like the bands and stuff that I was playing and whatever. But I had other stuff, and I pretty much did straight up stand up. And then one day I did this book called The Artist's Way. It's a very popular book by Julia Cameron. I've done it like 5 times. And then it was like create your art of like however you want. No, there were no consequences. What would you do? And I was like, I really love the feeling of like when I'm DJing and the crowd is rocking. But how can I incorporate that into stand up? And so I was like, that's kind of where that
That's
came
so
from.
interesting. Because I did, like I said, I didn't start doing stand up till 35 and everybody thought I lost my mind.
Oh, wow.
I was running
That's hard,
I was
man.
running a pretty successful business, and all of a sudden I'm like, and I have 2 kids and I'm married with a house, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go do this now.
Yeah.
And my mindset, but when people ask me, what the hell? Because I didn't start, I was a huge fan of it as a kid. That's what we always listened to our albums and tapes and stuff when we were younger, and remember watching. So I'm always curious of what happened in someone's brain that said, I can do that, and it's like,
Yeah.
from the college dorm thing and the DJing thing, what was like, what was your first gig at a comedy show? Like,
Dude,
'cause I remember real quick. I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
remember when I first saw you, there weren't music cues. The chicken dance thing stuff came later. When I first saw you, it was pretty straight up stand up, but there was a lot of references to the music and that. But
Yeah.
like, what was I'm gonna go do stand up comedy.
I think like my classmates when I was in high school, they always told me I was funny, and like I would recite Eddie Murphy to them, and
Yes.
right? That Eddie Murphy is like that was.
I did that at an audition when I was 15.
Did you really?
They're like, can you do something funny? And I go, well, I have Delirious
Not-
memorized, and I did it. yeah.
Did you book it?
No, I
Oh.
didn't. It was for, remember Dad's friend, the God, what was his name? The agent guy.
Stephen Nicolaitis.
No, he was a producer. Some other guy.
Sounds
But,
like a disease, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Nicolaitis.
He had it bad too.
He had it bad.
He was
It
named
took
after
over
him.
half his name.
So yeah, I totally get that. It's so funny to think of these white guys.
But like, okay, so like, why did I go into stand up? Is just all my friends were telling me I should do it, and but like for you, man, you started at an age where people are like, you should have all your stuff together, like
Yeah.
that's
And people, the thing that I ran into though is when I would tell them that I was new, a lot of people just didn't believe me.
wow,
And they're like, no, seriously, like I was doing some weird flex. Like, yo, I just started. Like,
Right,
but I was
right.
like, no, I'm serious. I just started this in July.
yeah,
I remember the first time I did stand up at the Ha on a real show. I was like maybe weeks into stand up.
Yeah.
yeah.
And John Roy, remember John
Oh yeah,
Roy?
dude, I haven't seen it in a while.
He was on the side of the stage when I got off stage. No, it was my first night. Actually, it was my first. When I got off stage, he goes, "How long you been doing comedy?" And I was like, "Well, what time is it?"
That's a
He
good
said-
joke.
Yeah. And I said, "About 15 minutes now." And he goes, "That's not a true story." Like, he didn't believe me at all. I was like, "No, this is my first time."
Side
Wow.
note, my favorite thing when talking to comedians is when comedians imitate other ones.
Yeah, John
That's
Ross.
always my
used to have a
favorite.
thing about French fries or something like that.
Man, but like, yeah, I don't think, a lot of people say, oh, you got to have 10 years and then you can do this. It's art, man. You could,
It's art. It's natural ability. It's like gift. And it's also, and you know this as well as I do, being in the right place at the right time.
yeah, man.
Being in the right place at the right time. And for some reason, they were good to me at the Ha Ha. That's where did you start?
I started in the dorms. And
But
then
where in
LA,
Oh, okay.
what I did was I entered a contest at a comedy club that's not there anymore. It was called the LA Cabaret. It was in Encino.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was,
I've heard about that.
it was like I guess like the equivalent of what the Ha Ha is now or something.
Mm.
But and they would have a contest called the funniest person in the valley every year. And I entered it. I was still in college, and I would come back from San Luis Obispo to LA like once or twice a week to be in this contest. And my last semester in college, and I was doing well in it, and I ended up winning runner-up of the whole thing. And I was only done comedy in my dorms.
Who was the winner?
The
You
winner was
remember?
a guy named Mike.
Too bad it wasn't like Kevin
something.
Hart. I wanted you to be
No,
like, well, it
no,
was
no.
actually Eddie Murphy.
Oh, that guy was really funny, man. But yeah, I forgot his last name, Mike something. But I don't see him around anymore. I think he went and did like corporate stuff, but yeah, he was really funny. A guy named Vic Dunlop was the one of the judges.
That
So-
sounds familiar.
He's a pretty legendary comedian, and he was at the time producing the Baker Boys morning show.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes,
It
"You're
was on
really
Power,
funny."
right?
It was on Power, and he brought me into that to do characters on it, and so I got like a gig out of that.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and he started booking me on shows around town. So like when you do well, I think your best calling card for success is when you do well
Yeah.
at anything.
Yeah.
Anything in life. When you do well at it, you get more opportunities.
How do I get this? How do I get that? How many times you hear younger comics asking you,
Right.
how do I get into this thing? And how do I get on that show? And I'm like,
Kill it.
be undeniable.
Right.
We had Richard Barrett on a couple weeks ago. He's an entertainment director and booker for Comedy Imagine.
Right, yeah.
And he literally said, be the funniest comic on every lineup you're on.
Yeah.
Be undeniable.
Right.
And that's what I try to tell people, but they're like, no, but I have 400,000 followers, but actually that's working now. By the
Yeah,
way.
that is working now.
That's-
But like people tell me if like when you're 35, you're starting stand up.
Mhm.
And I just said this to somebody this last weekend where they like you go, "Yeah, I just came out with this special." And they go, "Oh, cool." And then they go, "Oh, give me your autograph." Cuz when you're rich and famous, or when you're famous,
Right.
I felt like it was so condescending.
Yeah.
And I go, it was a table full of people, and they were like, "Yeah, give me your when you're famous." And I go, "You know what my goal is? To make that not funny."
Yeah. Yeah.
And they laughed.
Good comeback.
Yeah.
They laughed. I go, "I want to make it." And I go, "Yeah, why would it's like we've been doing this forever.
Ever.
And
They don't
we are
realize.
good. We are great at our craft.
I get people after shows going, great job, man. Stick
Stick
to this.
to it.
Stick to this. And I'm
Yeah.
like, buddy, I've been sticking to this for 20 years.
Right.
Yeah.
I have okay. So timeline wise, you were coming up from college to go to that. What was it called? The All Valley Comedy
Yeah.
Tournament.
yeah, the dojo.
Yeah. And
The
was that
karate.
around the same time as the Baker? What were they
The
called?
Baker
the Baker
Boys.
Boys.
Yeah.
And was that around the same time?
That was how I got the Baker Boys.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And you were on there doing characters. You said.
I was doing character. I was like doing a surfer character.
I
His
love
name
it.
His name was Lance Boyle
That's such a good.
because they needed some white guy energy, I guess.
Yeah.
That was like my.
Oh, you were
character.
the white guy energy for sure. There.
Yeah,
Let me ask: when you do, Smooth E,
yeah.
when did you start that? Was that there?
That was for another radio thing.
Oh, okay.
Years later, I used to work in radio at Premier Radio Networks, and I was doing like a morning show comedy. Like I was like writing jokes, and I was making parody songs for morning shows all across the country. And then this guy Larry Morgan, he was the boss over there.
Yeah.
He goes, "What?" He goes, "Do you want to be on a show?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, Ellen Kay, who was at the time Rick D's sidekick.
She is, yeah.
She's gonna do a countdown show, like rhythmic music, which is like hip hop and stuff, hip hop and pop. And I go, yeah. Okay, well then come up with an air name, like a character air name.
Yeah.
And I go, all right. Well, I like smoothies. My name's Eric, and I was thinking of nice and smooth. You know that and there's a smooth B, and I go, I'll be smooth E. And that's where that came from, because I thought it was a dumb name. I was like, I'm just gonna pick a dumb name that's stupid and like
It's stuck.
yeah. And it was.
I got to
cool.
meet
That's
and
cool.
become friends with Smooth B
Did you really?
through Russell Peters. I was at his house
Oh
one
my
night having
God.
cigars, and the guy showed up.
No way.
He goes, "Remember Nice and Smooth?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Smooth B." Dude was like wearing all pink with a pink hat.
He's
Like,
got to be, man.
nope,
He's
had a
smooth
bottle
B.
Had a bottle of Fireball in his jacket pocket.
I was
No
pissed
way.
because I wore the same shit.
Yeah,
I was mad.
that's crazy.
Did he pull out that he goes, hey man, you want a shot? Because Nice and Smooth has got to be the short shot.
That's exactly how he did it. Yeah.
Yep.
That's so much something Russell would actually say to when we're there. It's
Oh,
so
really?
corny. I love it.
Dude, Russell blows my mind, man. I see him at the airport. He goes, hey, you want to go do my podcast tonight? I go, yeah. This is like a year ago. I go, okay, sure. I get there. R.A. the Rugged Man is the
Yeah.
other guest. And I'm like, holy shit. This guy.
Yeah. When I did it, same thing. He goes, "You want to come?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, come by." And it was Exhibit. Exhibit was the other guest.
Oh, that's
And then we're there one night, and Bobby Brown shows up.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, it's you meet some legends when you're hanging out with Russ. It's
Talk
pretty
about a
dope. Fight
DJ,
legends
man.
and music legends.
He's a DJ. Like
He's incredibly
Oh my
good.
God.
Yeah.
I went to his house once and he was like, yeah, oh, I heard you're a DJ. Here's my turntables. Check it. Let me see what you do. And I get on and I'm like, I'm gonna show this guy. And I'm like, I'm scratching. I hadn't done it in a while. So I'm a little rusty and I'm like scratching. I'm like, and I go, yeah, take that. He goes, all right, let me try.
My turn.
And he gets on. He's like, I'm like, you
Oh,
asshole.
what do they
He's
call
so
the
good.
Transformer stuff?
Yeah, crabbing and all
he's
that.
killing it.
He's
Yeah,
so
he
good.
he's been DJing longer than he's been doing stand up.
If he wanted to quit stand up and be a world class DJ, he could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife goes to this event every year at Echoplex in LA, and it's a something flavors. I can't remember. It's all these dope DJs get
Oh,
together
okay.
on a night and perform.
Mhm.
And she told me that she's like, Russell was there one night. Russell
Yeah.
did it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. He
Yeah, he's
could hang
great.
with the greatest DJs, man.
So you got to show him your skills, though. I like that. Isn't that crazy? How he just has a DJ set up in his living room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to his house one year for New Year's, and he was DJing. It was cool.
Yeah. Shout out Russell Peters real quick. I want to say shout out. Check out his new special. Is going to drop very soon called Act Your Age. He shot it in Dubai. It's going to
I
be
saw it.
fire.
I saw a picture, man. That looks so good.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. When was your first time doing, and which club was it? First time doing an actual comedy club?
Well, it was definitely LA Cabaret.
Okay.
LA Cabaret. And
It's
then
not there. Where was that?
it was it was on Louise and Ventura.
I remember hearing about that in some documentary, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, I'm still a newbie. I wasn't around for that.
I think it's either a furniture store now, or like there was a bagel place there. Like you know where the Commons is in Encino?
Yeah.
It's like across the street from that. Across Ventura
Oh, okay.
from that. Yeah.
Nice. And then after that, what?
And then after that,
One that still exists.
one that still exists. Geez. In LA. Probably I guess I would say Laugh Factory, because I would do their
Wow.
open mic.
That's awesome.
Did you ever do the open mic?
Never.
Dude.
That's that Tuesday thing. You got to line
That-
up at like 4 in the afternoon or something.
Oh, now it's 4 in the afternoon or 3 in the afternoon or whatever. When we did it, they had no regulations. Like they have rules. They go, you can't line up before a certain time. That back then, we would get there at 6 in the morning. We would
Wow.
camp out all day, bring our own folding chairs. We would make our own list. Like the comedians would have a list that they would be like, okay, we're going to keep this list. And then when the official list comes out, we're going to stick to this one. And there would be fights. There would be homeless people would be out there, crazy people. And there would be like, if you left too long, they would scratch you off the list and people would get pissed.
Yeah. And then these young comics think it's hard to get into the clubs now.
Dude.
Now you get on the Comedy Store, Mike. You don't line up there anymore. You sign up online now.
Oh, so convenient.
Yeah. And it's one night now. But remember back the day it was Mondays and Sundays.
Oh, wow.
The potluck thing was Sundays and Mondays back then, and you just showed up. See, when I started, there wasn't a sign up. You just showed up and sat in the back and hoped that the guy running the mic knew you.
Yeah.
And it was like you sit in the back of the room and like till 2 a.m. and about every 20 minutes they come up and they're like, all right, maybe in a few more. All right, maybe in a few more. And then by 2, they're like, it's not gonna happen tonight. And I'm like, all right. And then we'd go the next day.
It's so like, because you're like, I'm ready to go up at any time. And
Yeah.
you're like ready to pounce.
Yeah.
And it's so tiring.
Oh man.
It's so tiring because you're just like you have that stress of like, am I going on? Am I not going on? It's stressful.
Yeah, it's and it's so hard watching other comics for me when I'm like, oh, I could be doing this right now, watching them and not all of them are going to be great, and it's just in the back. I'm just such a comedy snob. Sometimes I'm in the back room. I can't believe this shit, and then you finally get your chance, and then you're just angry. At 1 a.m., you're like,
I just love hearing all the different comedian stories because I'm not a comedian. So to me, like one of the things that we do here when he starts talking about like stand-up stuff, it's learning stuff for me too. Even though I'm around and stuff, I'm not a comedian. So it's
You never tried it?
I mean, a little bit. We've
Okay.
talked about it before. I mean, when he first started, there was a room he did. It's so long ago. It was in Cohiba in Long Beach, and
Okay.
we did it once a month on a Monday night at Cohiba.
You know what we called it? You'll love this. We called it full contact comedy.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
contact secondhand smoke.
Yeah,
Cohiba Lounge?
exactly. But I hosted it. I had a DJ. I mean, he did it. Chris D'Elia did it. Whitney Cummings did it. Joe Coy did it.
We had a pretty dope.
A whole
going out.
bunch of people would come down and do it.
Nice.
But this was like, again, when he first started.
Like
It was-
06, 07.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. And I did it twice maybe, but it wasn't because I wanted to. It wasn't like, I did not want to, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like, I'm going to be a comedian. I was just kind of, I'm going to do this thing for my brother.
Yeah.
To have him and his buddies can have a room to work out in, and
Mhm.
I'll help him out. You know what I mean?
You got one gig out of it. You ended up.
I did end
hosting
up
that
getting
one.
asked to host a thing at M Bar once
Oh,
because of that.
Oh, that place.
and like
Yeah.
Eliza was on the show and stuff, and I just went to watch, which
That's
is weird.
right. Yeah,
You know?
I do. Do you remember?
Terrible, man. Really.
Probably.
No, I'm just kidding. No, you did good.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, jokes.
Yeah.
That's why you always help me with. He's given me so many amazing tags and punchlines and stuff. He's really one of the funnest people I know. You have those people in your life that are they're funnier than a lot of the comedians, but they're not comics.
Yeah.
That's how David is. I have my brothers that way,
Yeah.
and I got a few really close friends that are like so funny.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why is this kid not doing comedy? But I don't want
Yeah.
him to because he'll be better.
My girlfriend comes up with things for me sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Today she just did one. I posted up a video about how when I went to India, they had pictures of me posted everywhere, and I was like a rock star. And then they were like, "No, that's Gandhi." So
I love what you said. I was on the money.
yeah, I'm on the money. And then and I'm like, "What do I call this video? What do I put on the thumbnail?" And I go like, she goes, "Twindia." And I go, "Oh, that's funny." And she goes, "Doppelgandhi." I'm like, "Yes,
There it
using
is.
that."
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Twindia or Adopt, either one.
yeah.
Right. That's so funny. Elaine will come up with some pretty funny stuff, but it's not for me. Like she'll say and do something. I'm like, that's going in the bit. That's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
in the act. Yeah. Relationships are fucking.
It's
full.
I mean, really, a lot of times what we do is when people go, "How do you come up with that?" And I go, "I don't. It comes up with me."
That's exactly.
You say that too?
Yes. I go, this isn't, the world just hands you gifts.
Just listen.
If you have a comedic mind and it's open, you could walk through a mall and come up with a 20-minute set
yeah.
because of what is happening in the world. It just comes to you.
It's like, you ever seen that clip of Pharrell going like, there's always a stream of ideas coming through, and you got to check them out like a library book.
Mhm.
And then,
Mhm.
like it's the same. It's like
Yeah.
these ideas are always flowing, or when something hits you, it's your duty to like record it, write it down, do something with it, shape the clay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. One of the things I'm envious though is that you started in the 90s. I've always been so bummed that I didn't start. I heard the comedy scene in LA in the 90s was crazy. Like
I was so new to it, man.
yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing that was pretty cool that I got to do was one of my first gigs was when I was working for that radio network premiere is I would record comedians at the Laugh Factory for the radio to be syndicated all over the country.
Shit.
And I would take my DAT recorder in there
Oh,
and I would hook up to their sound system, and it was all like pre-wired for sound. And I met a young comedian who was hilarious and killing every single night. His name was Dane Cook.
no shit. Yo.
He was my favorite comedian. I would watch him every night. He would destroy. And then one day he goes, "Hey, I'm going to go." He goes, I don't think I can do his voice.
Please do it.
Okay. "Hey, Schwartz." I can't do it. I'm not going to try.
You know the sound, if you close your eyes and listen to both of them,
Yeah,
Rick Glassman and Dane Cook.
that's true.
It's pretty
That is so
crazy.
true. That is
Pretty
so
crazy.
true. Okay, so imagine me as
Yeah.
Rick, but as me.
Got
doing
it.
me. Okay.
You doing Rick doing Dane. Go.
Okay. Oh God, it's gonna sound like me. It's just because they would Rick would
Come on, man.
Rick would throw some kind of like reversal
Oh, yeah,
on it,
yeah,
and it would just sound
Oh,
like
yeah.
me. So I'm just embodying his spirit. Okay, so he was like, "Hey, do you want to? I'm gonna go to Houston and I'm gonna record all my shows this weekend. I want to cut an album. Would you help me edit it?" And I go, "Yeah." And that album became Harmful as Swallowed.
So
So I
if I
edited
look at the liner notes, the editing is you.
it. You will not see it.
You.
I did not get credited. But on the original one that he pressed himself, he
Yeah.
gave me credit on the back. But then it got bought by Comedy Central, and then I don't know what happened. But
That's the kind
But,
of shit that always happens.
yeah, man, I was part of it, dude. It was
That's cool.
and the other thing is I told him, I go, Napster was just coming out. And I go, you should put these clips on Napster and put a little thing on the end that says, for more information, visit www.danecook.com. That was back when you said www.
Right.
And we did that. And then he like started getting flooded with like fans. And I mean, his material was so funny and perfect.
I love that
I
you
thought-
that you say that because
Yeah.
a lot of comics these days, they don't talk about that enough because for
Napster?
some reason Dane Cook
Oh,
became like this. I don't know what it was like. I don't know what the word is, but then people started hating on him for a while, and
Yeah.
that happens.
What
when
people
when
do
you're
is
on
they
top.
do it. They'll do
Bro.
a thing that they think they have to do because everyone.
Yes.
else is-
yeah.
For example,
it's a bandwagon.
cooler to
Yeah.
it's cool to like
Let me tell you.
John Lennon better than Paul McCartney. that
Any
whole thing.
straight white guy that got into comedy in the early 2000s got into that shit because of Dane Cook.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Dane made it look like, he wasn't in the suit and tie. He just had a freaking, on his first special, he was wearing a wife beater and cargos.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's like, oh, he's us. That's us.
Right.
So any comic that doesn't admit that is so full of
Half of the comedians that are like that would criticize him, I'm like, you're influenced by him and you don't even know it.
100%.
Yep.
It's crazy, man.
100%.
Like when comedians stand a certain way on stage, where it's like a weird posture. Have you seen people do that? It's like a lean.
And then they do
Yeah.
this. with
That's
their hand.
him.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
comic you see
Exactly.
doing this move,
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
they're being Dane.
And then the phrase, and then I walk away. That was
Yeah.
him.
Oh, yeah.
Like people do that.
Yep.
You know what a lot of people don't know? And it's the biggest word on the planet right now? Karen. Dane
Yeah.
Cook came up with Karen.
Yes,
He
I
sure
would
did.
agree with that.
Sure did.
Karen got hit in
Every-
the face with a tire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's always a douche. Karen is always a bag of douche. What was the bit was every circle of friends has that one person that nobody can stand, and it's always Karen.
Yeah. Karen.
Right.
Karen.
Right.
The guy coined the phrase.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
He did, man.
And
He
people
did.
don't, and there are kids today that are calling people Karen. They have no idea where it came from.
Wow.
Isn't that a trip?
Yep.
They're being Karens when they talk
They
about
talk
him.
about goddamn Karen.
They're being Karens.
Yeah. That's
Mhm.
so funny when you
I remember when he was first starting out and we went to the Laugh Factory to watch Joe, but Dane was on the thing. That's one of I had to leave the room. My face started like I was feeling my face was swelling. I was laughing
Mhm.
so hard at this guy, and he was so original
Mhm.
that I was like, I had to go to the bathroom and like take a breath. I was like, oh, like you get those laugh attacks
Yeah.
where you can't
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
And I'm missing the other because I was laughing so hard. I was
Mhm.
missing the rest of the shit he was saying, man. He was
Because
so
the genius
funny.
of what he did was he wasn't telling jokes.
Right.
He was saying normal fucking shit
Like
and
him.
making it hilarious.
Yeah.
It was the stakes that he brought to those
Yes.
the normal everyday stuff. And he was making it such a big deal, putting such big stakes behind it. You'd be like, this guy's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And his emphasis on certain words.
Oh,
like
he does
the
that.
nothing argument in the supermarket, and the jelly, like the way he was saying,
Right.
just the sat. And I was
Yeah.
learning so much. I'm like, oh, if you just say a normal word in a certain way, it's going to be funny.
Yep.
And I learned how certain numbers sound funnier. Like the number 7 is funny to me. Like when you add the word, and I did it on 7. Like I have this bit where I go, I coached Little League and I had no idea what I was doing. I said, when the team comes in and bring their hands in and they count to 3 and yell the shit, I go, I did it on 7. And that, for some reason, it worked. And the bit would be, all right, guys, bring it in intensity on 7. And for some reason, the
It
number
was
is
actually
7.
way better than that too. It was so funny because he would count it out and he goes, so 1, and I'm like, okay, the thing's coming. And,
Yeah.
and then he goes, by 5, I'm like, do I even want to play football?
Yeah. I kind of learned that from those guys.
You're giving him 4 extra counts
Oh,
to contemplate.
yeah, and especially after watching Joe make your face fucking fall off, and then Dane. So now you just
Oh,
had
dude,
2
I remember
killers.
It was that thing he talked about when he would wanted to come home and have a monkey at the house.
Oh yeah.
It was
monkey.
It was that one.
Yeah.
And I seen that him do that one live. Oh my God, man. I was done, dude.
The one that used to fucking kill me was when we talk about Steve Irwin. He goes, this guy isn't even licensed to be near
He's
animals.
so physical about it.
Hello, hi. I'm just gonna go in here. This is a baboon. I'm gonna hit this baboon with a stick. It's so funny.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Oh, the
Hit him with a lead pipe.
Yeah, the mastery of observational comedy. And it always goes back to like when people ask me, how do you write your jokes? And I'm like, I'm not writing jokes. I'm telling stories of things that happen and just finding the funny in wherever it goes, like the nuances and the what's the word I'm looking for? Wordsmith? Yep, good one.
Nuances?
I said that one.
Okay.
Hey man, don't steal my big words.
All right,
you
sorry.
already have way more big words than me. My brother's
Minutia? No,
my brother is very much way smarter than me.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not. He thinks that only because I don't know why he thinks that.
because
But
you
I'm-
read and I
He
don't.
got more of the brain, and you got
guess.
yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Some dude, sometimes we're in the car and you'll say some fucking word that I've never heard, and I legitimately get angry. Like, who uses that?
Did you guys
Or-
go to different schools or
No,
what?
his brain's better. Who uses that word? And then he makes me feel more like people. It's a word people use. You've said things like, first time I ever heard the word avuncular, it was from you.
I've heard that one. I forgot what it means.
It means to be uncle-like. Remember in the, like, for example,
Uncle? It has the word uncle in
Yeah.
it.
remember when in Seinfeld when Jerry thought it was a good idea to give Elaine cash as a gift, and Kramer was like, "What are you, her uncle?" Remember that? Well, that was an avuncular gift.
Wow.
Or that was an avuncular action that he did. He was being very uncle-like.
You would think that the word would just be uncular,
All right?
right?
I don't know why.
Well, wait,
Maybe they're taking of uncle.
oh, of uncle, you're.
and making
Yeah,
it
yeah.
a word. Look, see, my brain works a
Boom.
little bit.
Avuncular. It's an avuncular word.
It should be spelled with an O, not with an A.
Yeah. Is it with an A?
OF. It sounds like AV, right? AV, uncular.
avuncular.
Avuncular, not ovuncular.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, now we know
that's
what
the thing. He
Now we
thinks
know what
I'm
this
smart.
podcast is called.
I've
Sullivan.
heard these words and I know how to use them and I've looked them up, but you ask me to spell it, can't do it.
And if it's an ant, it would be, that's very antitious.
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 Yeah,
Yes,
she's very-
antitious.
She's an anticular woman.
Anticular. That's antique.
Anticular. Avuncular and anticular.
Yeah, we can keep going. Man, you are real cousinicious.
Cousinicious, dude. Told you,
Premacious.
wordsmith.
that's in Spanish.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Premacious.
Premacious.
You know, we brought up another one of, you know how like,
Premacious.
you know how dumb people, they'll, to fake Spanish, they just put an O and an A on the end of words.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, my wife, she's from Mexico, and they put Asian on the end of a word to make it sound American.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, pretty
Like,
funny.
what would this be?
Telefonation.
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 Telefonation, maybe. I don't know.
Zapatation.
I just learned this
Zapatation.
myself, so
You speak
that's
Spanish.
correct.
I speak Spanish.
You
Yeah.
have a step.
The stepfather, he's Mexican.
Cool.
Actually, I think the reason that I speak Spanish is because I want to impress him. He's like the
That's
coolest
heartwarming.
dude ever. He's like a jazz musician,
No way. What does he play?
guitar.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I bet he listens to. I bet he likes like Wes Montgomery.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh wow, that's cool.
John Coltrane was big influence on him.
Love it.
But he's like great, like world class musician. And just the coolest guy, the funniest guy. Like you're saying, like people that are funny in your life, you're like, how's this guy not doing comedy? He's funny. Like he could be in here at any time. He would be the funniest dude in the room. But he's no offense, but he's he's great. And so I think like a lot of the reason that I'm so like into the culture is I want to impress him and like show him that, you know, I don't know if you have step parents, but I feel like they're really also my parents.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I
Well, if
feel
you're there the whole time and you're doing the right thing.
right.
Yeah.
So
I'm
from a
stepfather.
young age,
I'm a stepfather.
you're a stepfather.
Yeah.
And I have such respect for step parents because they take somebody else's problems and they make them theirs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, see, here's how lazy we are.
Mhm.
My brother could understand Spanish. I could kind of understand it. Can't
Right.
speak it. Our father was fluent.
Really?
Fluent.
Is he Mexican?
Nah,
No.
everybody used to think he was
No.
Cuban because he was white, but he had really curly, kinky hair like a fro.
Yeah.
Spoke fluent Spanish, but not like someone white guy that learned it in school. It was he could speak it.
Right.
But then he was also a language major, and it was Spanish that he did. He went, but yeah, and apparently we spoke it when we were younger, because when we were living in North Hollywood, all the neighborhood kids, none of them spoke English, and we had best friends that we were just. And your kid memory, Alejandro, and you remember, and your
sword fights with our Hot Wheels tracks.
Yeah, and you remember in your kid brain just playing with your friend. Apparently, we were all speaking Spanish.
Dude, that's so crazy, man.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids who speak Spanish when they're kids, and then they forget.
Yep, it's like a muscle. You have to neither one of my boys really speak it. They both can understand it. When my wife's grandmother was still around, she would only speak to them in Spanish, so it was easier for them.
Yeah.
But as they got older, they don't. Because my wife speaks Spanish, but she doesn't speak it in the home.
Dude, I want to do my next comedy special in Spanish.
Didn't Segura do that?
Yes. He's what, half Argentinian, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Segura.
He speaks way fluently.
Argentinian or Honduran? I can't remember.
Honduran? Oh.
Your stepdad, he's an artist. And that was probably was that a big influence on why you're an artist? I feel like that's why.
And musical?
He's got this performing bug, because our father was a musician as well.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. I mean, like I would watch him do it. Definitely has an influence on me. But also because I do music, he's like showed me how to do a lot of stuff and gave me a lot of tips. And
that's cool.
I think I really got into music though because of hip hop. I grew up in barely close enough to get the signal for K-Day when it was on AM.
I remember that.
It was like the first hip hop music station. And like when it was cloudy or when it was dark, you could get because that's how AM.
So you grew up in LA.
I grew up in Thousand Oaks.
So know, that's how we were.
Yeah.
We would stick a wire hanger on the radio and try to get KDOY. That's the only way you can get hip hop.
Yeah.
Now you bring up KDOY, our father wrote the original jingle.
No way.
It's a nice K-Day today.
Yeah, because he had a song that he wrote called "It's a Good Day Today," and then they bought it, and then he changed it to "It's a Good K-Day Today."
And it was hip hop, or was it like
no,
this was way in the 60s. Yeah, back
before it became a hip hop station. It's been around forever.
Yeah, it was a pop station before. It was kind of like Kiss FM. It was pop hits of the day and stuff. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
and then from that I got into breakdancing because that was. Did you guys? I feel like you guys
so similar.
Dude. Yeah,
we're like SoCal kids.
My very first knee injury was coming around on a windmill too fast and hitting the gym floor.
Yeah.
That was huge. It was really big for a while, and then it went away, and then it came back even bigger.
Oh yeah, now you see these kids on TikTok doing it. It's
insane.
It's incredible. There's no gravity in these kids' world.
Dude,
the moves that they're doing. If we did that back then, they would have thought we were superheroes.
Right.
I mean, they can fly. These kids. It's crazy.
Well, it's like you look at like how good people are at things now, and it's because they're like standing on the shoulders of giants. You know, like beatboxing. Beatboxing, like when I did it, if you could like do a couple little tricks, people would be like, "What the?"
Yeah. If you had a little rhythm with it, you're like, "Oh, this guy's good."
Yeah. And now it's like if you don't make your face fall off, you suck.
It's crazy, and I love that Giants thing. I'm very fortunate to become friends with Crazy Legs from the original.
Oh, really?
Yeah, New York City Records. Yeah, he's a Rocksteady guy. We're like homies now. I met him through Russell.
Wow.
And he comes to shows, and we kick it whenever he's in LA. And I just remember, like, when I hang out with him, I get these memories of us looking at him in magazines and watching him on videos and seeing him in the movie Beat Street and going, they're incredible. We'll never be that good.
But those guys, you can't be, that's why I don't understand, like, how can people even compare? I think LeBron James is a great player, but like Michael Jordan, the jump between what was there before and then Michael Jordan is so big, and they all are playing because of the way they are because of what Michael Jordan did. So you can't, it's the same thing with like all the breakdancers now. The Crazy Legs is inside them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he still does it. Yeah. And he's older than me.
Yeah.
I think I'm 52. I think he's 54.
Wow.
And I'm not trying to do any of that. And he could still rock it. It's amazing. Yeah.
Like 82 through 84 is when Jay and I were really into that whole, like the breakdancing aspect of hip hop and going, listening to only K-Day. And in Long Beach, the only place you can get hip hop music was a place called VIP Records.
Yeah, that's famous, man.
Yeah, I think
it's a fucking 7-Eleven now.
Yeah.
No.
But the sign is still the sign.
They kept the sign.
Made it.
It's a historical mark.
Historic landmark.
That's where like Snoop used to
Yeah,
record shop or
They
like
shot a video on the
studio.
roof
Video,
there
that's
and
what it
all
was,
that.
yeah.
There was recording studios in there at one point.
Yep.
But they're still around. They still do functions all over town, and
wow.
They
yeah.
numbered all their mixtapes. And my brother and I wish we still freaking had them.
dude.
We had mixtape 1 and 2.
Oh, check this out.
And they were
Yeah.
called Rap 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So how I really got deeper into hip hop was my dad had my biological dad. He had a clothing business. This is so Jewish. Okay. He had a clothing business that was like a store on wheels.
Oh, wow.
And this is before a lot of those discount shopping, like
Yeah.
Ross was everywhere. And so he would go downtown, he would get these like discount, nice office wear, and he would sell it at office buildings in Thousand Oaks and Ventura and all around there. And at the weekends, we'd go to the swap meet and sell his clothing. And we would go to the Rhodium, which is here in Redondo Beach, pretty
Okay,
close.
yep.
And 2 like rows away from us, we would hear this hip hop music. I'm like, what is that? It was a really famous record stand called Rhodium Records.
Mm.
And Dr. Dre used to do his mixtapes out of Rhodium Records.
Wow.
And that's where NWA got a lot of its start out of
Wow.
Rhodium Records. And I
Straight
bought
out of
his-
Redondo, dude.
Yeah, I bought his stuff.
That's so cool. Man.
Yeah,
Straight out of Redondo.
yeah.
That's dope, though.
Damn. So that was one of the questions I was going to ask because I've never been really sure of where you grew up.
Yeah.
But you just had LA vibes to me.
Thousand Oaks, which is a suburb just north of LA, and then also a little bit in San Diego. My mom lived in San Diego.
Yep. We
Yeah.
have relatives out there. Like 2 of our cousins live in Thousand Oaks.
Yeah.
We grew up going to Agora every weekend and staying out there.
Oh, yeah.
And because all my dad's family's out there.
Tia.
Tia, bruh.
Got a Tia.
Like just inland from Malibu. But now it's, I like how it's become. Like it used to be very like homogenous but it's more diverse now.
You know,
It's
the
not
Valley?
no
Or
Thousand Oaks.
Yeah.
It's becoming more diverse. I like that. Because back then I was like I kind of brought hip hop to nobody knew about
Yeah,
it.
to
Yeah.
your neighborhood. Yeah.
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 See, it's opposite for when we grew up. It was like we were the only white guys listening to it at the time,
Yeah.
you know? And some of the like popular surfer dudes would like make fun of us
Oh yeah.
for listening to it and dressing in that way. But it was like, yo, that's who we hang out with.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have a lot of money growing up. And,
Did you
we were
guys
poor
grow
black
up with
kids.
like?
We were poor black kids.
Were you?
Solomon, right? You can see it.
Yeah, sure.
Solomon's jury's still out on me.
Is he?
I think so.
Solomon, did you ever break dance?
No,
Oh.
no, but I actually DJ'd.
But we learned
As a
something about
DJ.
Solomon on the last episode.
Oh, yeah.
though,
What
didn't
happened?
we?
You are going to love this.
Okay.
No.
Yes. Guess
We're telling him.
Guess what he sang background vocals on?
I adore.
Way farther back.
Further back? Okay.
Color Me Bad.
My
Yeah.
girl, my
Not- well,
girl. Not that
that's
far. Okay.
The Jacksons, Can You Feel It?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel it?
Can you feel it?
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
feel it?
Yeah, see, he knows. But yeah, so he's got a little musical background himself.
Nice, dude.
But you used to DJ as well?
Yeah, I DJ'd at a club in Hollywood called Mr. J's.
Oh, I remember Mr. J's.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah, dude.
there's a big Home Depot there now.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mr.
Yep.
J's.
That's
Wow, what a
it's the one on
flashback.
Hollywood Boulevard, right?
correct. Yeah,
Right off the freeway.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Now it's
That
on
whole
Home
thing
Depot.
was a club?
Crazy.
Yeah, it
They
was a
had
club and a few other
giant
things.
clubs back then.
Yeah,
Damn.
Remember Florentine Gardens?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's still there.
Still there?
Still there.
There were some giant places
Oh,
back then.
yeah.
You
There was
remember
one
the
that they
Palace?
just called The Warehouse.
I remember the Palace.
The Palace
Yep.
is now Avalon, and that's where I shot my special.
Where you shot your special.
Yeah.
Where can they see it again?
At YouTube on YouTube. It's called
YouTube. What's your
Delivery.
YouTube called?
Eric Schwartz. EricSchwartz.
Tell them your social medias.
Yo, Instagram, Eric Schwartz with 3 E's. EricSchwartz is pronounced Eric Schwartz.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, you're seriously one of my favorite people.
Dude, likewise,
and
man.
Stand-ups, and dude, I'm so glad.
We always this is one of the guys where you see him at, I wore this for you, this jacket,
I
by
was
the
going
way.
to say, we
Because last time I wore it, you wore the exact same thing. I go, I wonder if
did
he's going to do
what
it.
you and I do all the time.
Oh, really?
We showed up one night to a gig that we were both on
Yeah.
in the exact same outfit.
Yeah.
We got some pretty good shots of it. I'll give
You're
you a
our
picture.
honorary
Yeah.
triplet.
I was figuring because since you guys are twins, I wanted to twin with you and we all be connected.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're twinning. We're trips.
Yeah.
Triplets,
You're
bro.
honorary triplet, man.
All right, cool.
Awesome, dude. Dude, thank you so much for coming out. This was a fun episode. I could just listen to this shit all day. Please continue to rate and review at Apple Podcasts, iHeart, wherever it is that you listen. Make sure you download it there and go to our YouTube, obviously, the Identical Pod. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know what's coming at you. Hold on, let me find the right button here. Don't forget we got merch on identicalpod.com. Go get your merchandise there. Go Christmas shopping. Anything else, Dave? Did I miss anything?
No, that was it, man. This was awesome. I've been looking forward to this one, man.
Yo, Unidentical. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Unidentical.